Welcome to part 7 of our series of getting started with web video. Now we're going to look at sort of distribution and marketing in this part. And this is Dave Thackeray.
This is Mark. You flinched there. Mark Johnson, that's the man. Now, Wayne, in our last part, got together his video all about his flags and he's raring to go. But he doesn't know what happens next. So where do we go from here?
Yeah, so he took the video that he shot and he's used one of the editing programs to edit it, and he's got this nice little bit of video, but it's sitting as a file on his computer. So how does he get it out to the masses, to the hundreds of thousands of people
flag cherishers
who just want to see what the latest is in Wayne's flags? Well, what he has to do is to find a big server up in the clouds that will let anybody look at it or find it. And they're known as CDNs, or content distribution networks. You would probably know them as YouTube, or Vimeo, or Blip. They're the three pretty common companies. And what they do is they allow you to upload the video to them. It can be indexed with search terms. You can put what's known as metadata around it. And they will also give you statistics on the number of people who watched it. Because it's all well and good to say, I've done my video. But you want to know whether it's just your mum and your aunt who's watched it, or actually whether 500 people have watched it. And depending what it is, I mean, you hear about these YouTube videos that have gone viral. But really, they tend, no business videos go viral. You have to do something like, the television has to explode behind us, or something like that happens for it to go viral. So, hundreds and thousands are good enough probably for a lot of businesses. So don't expect tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions. And if we have a look, for example, at the YouTube channel for Studio Tech TV, which is one of the channels that TTFN TV do. You can see it's nicely laid out. All the videos are here. It gives you some statistics. We get at the top right, 96,522 people have watched the video. Videos have been watched. And we have subscribers, and they're people who like the channel, your YouTube content enough that they say, I'm a subscriber, and every time an episode is uploaded, a show is uploaded, let me know, tell me that there is a new episode. So YouTube's good, so you can build subscribers because they're really committed to you. I mean, you don't subscribe to anybody. That's
a lot of numbers, isn't it, for relatively little work? I mean, imagine what you could do if you started promoting it big time. I mean, the opportunities are out there as long as you find the niche network you're trying to communicate to. Those numbers could be right up. So you can't rely on the cloud, though, can you? You've got to have some backup, haven't you? We all know about that, right?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I think YouTube is if you want to go one place, YouTube is the place to start. Some people like Blip and Vimeo, and they have some more professional features, and you can make sure there's no advertising, et cetera, et cetera. We get about 50% of our viewings on YouTube, 40 to 50%, and the rest we get from Blip TV and through distribution to iTunes and things like that, which we're not going to cover. But it's a great place, and we'll have a quick look at Vimeo. Vimeo is another popular CDN, and one thing that Vimeo do is it's free, like YouTube is free. Their basic service is free, but the Vimeo Pro is $199, and it allows you to have 50 gigabytes of storage and 250,000 plays. So that's 250,000 video viewings, and that's their professional service. That's for their businesses. So the free service is just for those who, for charities or for non-commercial organisations.
So let's go back to YouTube then, because that seems to be a logical place to begin. How easy is it to get your files uploaded to YouTube?
They have made it very simple recently. There is you register. You have to register. You say upload a video. It asks you to either drag or drop a video file, or to find it with Finder or the tools in Windows, and it just uploads it. It starts uploading it automatically, and at the same time it asks you to give it a title, to put metadata around it. and to give it the information that people can use to find it.
All for the big fat cost of zero, because of course things of this nature you would expect carry quite a high cost, but it is free of charge.
It is currently, and as far as I know, for the future, going to be free of charge. I said Blip have a service where you can pay a little bit extra for, and Vimeo have a service that you can pay extra for. People making high quality, very graphical, artistic videos seem to like Vimeo because they have a very good reputation for really good quality, high definition. But YouTube is fine. I mean, most people are happy with the quality of YouTube.
And all of these content distribution networks, the CDNs, the YouTubes, the Vimeo, the Vidlers, all the rest of it, they all give you the option of embedding your video on your own website, don't they? Which is where the real fun begins.
That's right. So the way that these work, we talked about uploading the video, and then people who go to YouTube can find your video. But you have probably got a website, right? You've already got somewhere where you have your customers or your club members, whoever, coming to, and you want to be able to put the video on that site. So what happens is these sites give you what's known as embed code, which is normally 2, 3 or 4 lines of what looks like gobbledygook, and you just put that into your blog post or your page or your story, and the video magically appears when you look at it on the web, and it's there, and it looks like it's being played from your site, but it's not. The actual video is coming from YouTube or from Blip or from Vimeo, but it is on your site.
The miracles of technology.
It's very clever. It sounds complicated. Once you've done it once and you've played around with it, you'll understand.
I've got my video uploaded to one of these so-called CDNs, YouTube, because that's the easy one as far as I can see. It's on my website, but maybe I'm not getting enough people watching it yet. I can see my stats. You told me how I can find my analytics on YouTube, and that's all well and good. We need to start thinking about how to amplify the video now, don't we, and actually getting people to watch it.
So Wayne's had his video up for 2 weeks, and he's got 10 people have watched it. So he's pretty disappointed, right? Because it's his aunt and his uncle, and a few people have watched it, and he's watched it 7 times. So out of the 10 times, he's not doing very well. He is probably doing a lot of things that he could just add the information. He might be advertising in the local paper or something, maybe want to do that. He might well have an email list, a newsletter that he puts out. What a great thing to go out with to your customers and say, hey, you can now see videos about Wayne's flags, or introducing the new red on white Wayne's flag, whatever it is he was talking about. So there are a couple of ways, but you do need to have some sort of strategy around it, and use what you've got, as well as maybe thinking of some new things to do.
You're right. There's another idea for you. Guest posts are very, very useful these days, where you can think about, okay, I've got my website and my niche. Where can I preach my niche to somebody else who's got interests in my circle? So you can write about a video on somebody else's website, produce a guest post. Let's not underestimate the power of the social networks as well. The Twitters, the Facebooks, the Google Pluses, the new kid on the block, Pinterest. Pinterest, you can create a screenshot of your video and link back to the video in areas of interest that might appeal to people who are scouring the Pinterest pinboards, for example. More about that another time. But you've got all these different opportunities, and you're right about the strategy. Write it all down, explain where you want to put this information, tick a quick box when you go past it, and make sure that you've covered off all of those bases. Think online as well as offline, trade press, local media, like you said. There's nothing like good publicity. It's everywhere you want to be. So what I would say is just make sure that you've got all of those eggs in the basket, and you know where you're trying to cover. And as far as I'm concerned, the results will come. The rewards are there for people who are tenacious enough and have got the commitment to actually follow through and take the story to their people. So it's a great place to begin.
And if you have business premises, you can actually, and you've got half a dozen, 10 videos, you can have them looping, whether it's in your reception or in your shop or in the clubhouse. If you're running a golf club, you might have them running there. And maybe with little business cards underneath with the website on. There are lots of simple ways that Wayne can get his 10 viewings up quite a lot, I'm sure.
So if we were going to speak to Wayne now and talk to him about his flags, then in summary about the distribution and the promotion, I think the first thing is to choose wisely. Say one content distribution network first. I'm going to plumb for YouTube because it seems to have the greatest mass, and we can do a lot of analytics there to figure out whether that's the right place. Also, got to create a marketing strategy for your video. This is such an important part of it. It's like any part of business, isn't it? You've got to plan, you've got to prepare, and the more planning and preparation you do, the more that video is going to sing and the more people are going to see that video. And I guess the last point that we need to make is you've got to think online as well as offline. So find the people who you speak to face on a daily basis, find out what they want to know, and they'll probably plumb into your video, and then we'll actually get more value out of it in return. Speak to your local press, speak to everybody you can, get down to the Chamber of Commerce and tell them all the great work you're doing. Sounds like a great place to start. Very, very important part coming up, Mark. Very sad face at this point because there's some great stuff coming up in our final chapter of this series.
Yeah, absolutely. So in part 8, we're just going to look at what could I do next. I created a video and I think it's great. I think it's working. We're getting lots of viewers, but how can I expand? So some ideas of what you might want to do in the future.
The world is your hamster. Looking forward to speaking to you again then.
In part 8, coming up soon.